back, everyone, to episode 47 of the Minot Business Podcast, presented by Bennett Creative Media. I'm your host, Easton Bennett, and on the show today, we have James Baker. James, how are you?
I'm doing fantastic, Easton. How are you doing?
Not too bad. We're going to, before we get started, if you have not already, please rate and review the show. If you could take 5 seconds, leave us a rating and review. It really helps spread the word to new audiences and attract new guests for you guys each and every week. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. So, James, let's just dive into the questions here.
Yeah, let's do it.
What, for the people that don't know you, don't know what you do,
Sure.
Give us your elevator pitch.
Sure. So for me, James Baker, of course, you gave me the name already, but I'm the general manager of Paradise Spas and Outdoor Living, which might sound a little different. In the past, it's Paradise Spas and Motorsports or just Paradise Spas. So, but yeah, I manage a store here in Minot, plus I cover our territory for North Dakota and South Dakota. So we do a lot of over-the-road shows. We do a lot of events, special events, things like that. So yeah, that's kind of my cup of tea.
Cool.
And
that's
everything.
And that's what I was wondering, because we were talking before we even hit record on the cameras here, a little bit about what you guys do, and that's what I'm excited to dive into. So the origin of Paradise Spas.
So Paradise Spas started late 80s.
Okay.
So we've been around for going, 3 decades and plus now. So
Yeah.
It's a really good staple for the city of Minot, which we're pretty proud of. There's a lot of people that have kind of come and gone over those years that, they try to dive into the business and give it a run, but we've been able to stand the test of time. So we're pretty proud of that.
So then the name Paradise Spas, you mentioned how it went through multiple different name shifts. Is that because you guys were changing your services and products you offered, or was that just...
Yeah. So that's kind of, yes. So what happened is, as Paradise Spa starts up, it's a spa store, right? So, and then as time evolves and interests change and the market calls for different things, we kind of evolved. So, early 2000s, went into Paradise Spas and Motorsports. We picked up a Suzuki line.
Yep.
We got into, sport bikes and ATVs and side-by-sides as the time gone, go-karts, pit bikes, even went into the boats, marine, that kind of stuff. So we dove pretty heavy into the motorsports and power sports, which was a fantastic era for us. We kind of had to phase that out. If you remember, to the south of us used to be the old Pepsi lot there, and we were able to rent that out, and that was our display for all of our boats and everything like that. So once that went away, Epic came in and built the big blue on Broadway there. We lost that space, so we kind of had to come, pull up our bootstraps and go back to what we know best, which was the spa and home leisure. Yeah. So we went back to Paradise Spas and Outdoor Living. So now it's, spas, saunas. We still do dabble little go-karts and pit bikes. We can't fully pull out all of that. But so yeah, we've got spas, we got billiards, we got saunas, we got massage chairs, outdoor living, you name it, we got it.
So what got you into the industry?
Well, I've been friends with Jason for a long time. He and I worked for him in the early 2000s when the power sports first took off.
Yep.
Now, if you can go back as far as, late 90s.
Okay.
Were you even born yet, Easton?
I 98.
98.
So,
okay.
I mean,
That's when I graduated high school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I was in there.
Okay. Yeah, you're there. So, I worked at the Sport Shack way back when. And then when Jason decided to take on the power sports, I came over and I worked for him. Setting up Suzuki and doing some of the stuff with the store there. And and then we parted ways. I went on to some other adventures. A lot of people might know me from Capital RV. I was out there and was a sales manager at Capital RV for a long time. Okay. And then in 2020, Jason and I got to talking and I came back to work for him. Yeah. Then, and it's kind of, big hopes, big dreams to do that. And then what happens? COVID pandemic. So, that's a whole nother line of questioning, but it's been an interesting 3-4 years with them since I've been back with them. Okay.
So origin story of Paradise Spas, and obviously Jason's not on the show, but you can vouch for him a little bit. Off camera, we were talking about, I was wondering if it was a franchise or not. And you mentioned no. So what did the story look like to start Paradise Spas? So
in the original creator of Paradise Spas, started it out, I believe from what I know, started on from his home, selling soft-sided tubs and dabbling in hot tubs. And then as business for him grew, he moved into a brick and mortar. And then about 23 years ago, this is when Jason got involved and it just kind of started to grow from there. Even, primarily spas, back in those days, spas, tanning beds, billiards, that kind of stuff. And as it grew, went into the power sports, and then things kind of blew up from there. So
Yeah.
we're really small footprint, but we do really big business. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have our hands in there.
So what would you say your experience sounds like, at Capital RV and now Paradise Spas, you're selling high ticket items.
Mm-hmm.
What is the difference between selling high ticket items compared to me buying a t-shirt? Is there a different way of business you go about with that?
Well, yeah, because I mean, like you getting a t-shirt, I mean, it's funny you use that reference because it works really well with this. So like you using a t-shirt, you want to go in and you want to find the right style, you want to find the right fit, right? Something that's comfortable for you.
Yep.
We need to do the same thing. So when you're selling a spa, when you walk in the front door, I need to find out what your fit, what your needs are, why you need one. What style are you going for? You want something basic, you want something with all the bells and whistles. So it's kind of the same process, just bigger ticket. But at the same time, we pride ourselves on the fact that the spa enhances your life.
Okay.
I mean, it's one of those things that you want to put in your backyard to relieve stress, to create, an atmosphere of fun for you and your family. So it is funny in the fact that you go through the same process, but it's for us, it's something that we need to qualify you. We need to ask you all those questions. We need to find out what fits you, what's going to service your family the best so that we can get you into the right product.
And that's what I'm wondering, because I have a weird love for, messaging and how are you going to get people to latch onto your product. Sure. Whereas the spot, like I want a hot tub, I want a pool table, all of this different stuff, but having that message, how is that what you guys are selling? Like this makes your life a better, more enjoyable experience?
Yeah. So, I mean, the whole, our main vendor is Master Spas. Master Spas has been in the business for going on 27 years. We've been with them since inception. So we're really proud of that too, having the same brand, having the same product for, for 25 plus years. But I lost my train of thought here. What was your question?
As far as the message you're selling.
Yes, the message we're selling. So with Master Spas, it's, their big thing is relax. It's Master Spas, right? So that's kind of their slogan, if you will. And that is what we're after. We're after the relaxing side of things. So what we need to do is you want a pool table, you want a sauna, you want a spa, but let's be honest, a lot of people don't think about things like that.
Yeah.
Until there might be a need for it.
Yeah.
Or they were at somebody else's house. They were at a party. They saw one. Now they really want one. Right. Mm-hmm. So it is something that we want to enhance your life and make things better. But sometimes it's hard for us to get that out there because unless you come in the store, a lot of times you don't know what it is we're doing or what we offer. So we do get on the road quite often and we have to put ourselves in front of people. And everyone knows us from the state fair. Everyone knows us from, the KX Sports Show, but we're doing those types of events, almost every other weekend.
So let's pivot into that a little bit then. You're on the road traveling, selling the products. What does that look like?
A circus, a little bit of a circus. Yeah. So it's the whole gamut. It's load the semis, it's get the product, it's get the, the signage and everything. Rent the venues and get out there and get in front of people. So that's what I do. I, sit in the office and I call around, whether it's Minot local, Bismarck, Williston, Dickinson, Jamestown, Fargo, Grand Forks. We even get down into Sioux Falls, Rapid City, locating those venues, renting those out, letting them know the schedule when we plan to come in and be to town and then, line up the inventory, load up the semis, whether those are coming from the factory or out of our warehouse here in town. And then we schedule the sales team and show up. And a couple hours later, we got a show set up, ready to sell.
Do you think that's something that people that are maybe just starting a business or they're selling high ticket items, whatever it might be, can start to implement that you don't necessarily have to sell specifically in the city that you're selling? Obviously, the overhead is probably, it's got to make sense logistically, getting all these semis and everything.
So Easton, if you're in sales, this, your job is 24/7.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So if you are sitting at your desk at your dealership, waiting for someone to walk in the door, you're the second man on the totem pole.
Yep.
So it's guys like us and like-minded that you're on the phone constantly. You're trying to create, what can I do to get my product in front of people? Not always. We do try to get people in front of our product, but we want to get our product in front of people. So for us, being aggressive is the only way to do it. and it's to get out there and put the product in front of people so that one, like I was saying earlier, a lot of people don't necessarily think about spas like you would furniture in your house, a refrigerator, or a car, even, because those are things that are a necessity. You do it every day. You can get through life without a hot tub, but you shouldn't.
Yeah. Oh, trust me. When I lived in Canada, my billet parents had a hot tub. Oh, every day, that especially like this spring when it's been a little bit chilly, the spring we've had, I'm always like, man, I wish I had a hot tub. Man,
well, right. And for families where you're a hockey player, correct? So
ex-hockey player, retired. I like to say
retired, but you're athletic. So for families that have athletes in the family, or you yourself as an adult, if you're training and working out, it's just a necessity. It's something to have after a workout to step into, just to give your muscles that chance to, warm up, relax. It'll increase it'll decrease your stress level.
Yeah.
It's going to increase your energy level throughout the day. You're going to rest better. You're going to sleep better. Overall, you're just going to feel better.
Yeah. And I'm a huge advocate, and I have a side area on my house. There's a little walkway next to my garage, and I'm going to transition it into an area that I can put a hot tub. So hopefully we're speaking in the near future.
Before I jump in the truck outside, we just might have to look at that. Make sure we can measure it up and get you set up.
Yeah. Perfect. So we talked about being a salesperson. You have to be almost a go-getter. How do you think people can shift that mindset if you are a business owner? Because that's one thing I had to learn is, if you don't have leads coming in the pipeline, you'll get busy on work, and then you'll have no leads. And it's like, okay, now I have to go get a bunch of new jobs. And then you get busy on work. You always have to be 24/7 trying to get new clients or, selling products. Are you born with that? Or do you think you can shift your mindset into being that person?
You can shift your mindset into being that person. You have to have a drive for it. You have to have a want, because you can get busy into the work, but you'll notice without the leads, the work dies off.
Yeah.
So we cannot be in business without our customer, and our customer, is key. So how do we get in touch with them? How do we stay in front of them? It is important, but as an individual or as a business, advertising your business is key.
Yeah.
I mean, going back to, I watched your show when Jared was on, and he touched base on it as well. It's just, you have to advertise, and then you have to stand behind what you advertise.
100%.
And you have to, if you've got the best product and you feel it's the best product and you're telling us the best product, when that customer comes in, you need to be able to back that up.
Yeah.
So that's very important. But as far as the business side of it itself, that's one of the things that Jason, from the top does extremely well. I was mentioning when we were talking before we started recording, he is foot on the gas.
Yeah.
And it's, constantly opportunity. James, what do you think about going into this market? What do you think about doing this? What do you think about doing this? And it's 24/7. Sometimes I pick up my phone and see who's calling, and I'm like, okay, where are we going now? And it's exciting for me, and it's fun for me because, you don't stay in business for 30 plus years by just sitting there waiting for someone to come in the door.
I always like to tell myself, you get what you put out.
You do. You're going to get out of that. And that's in life, man. You get out of it, whatever you put into it.
Yep.
So, and it's one of those things for us where, not only have we been the original hot tub store here in Minot, we're going to continue to be, Riley, Jason's son, who's, he's kind of working under me as I'm mentoring him now, bringing him into the business. And, that's the next generation.
Yeah.
And he's seeing firsthand right now, like what we're doing and how we're doing it. At 19 years old, he's trying to absorb all he can because, the baton will get passed on, and another 30 years is coming. So.
Yeah. Which is exciting because the businesses that have that longevity, whether it's 10, 15, 20, 30, even 60 years now, if, Riley gets in there, those are the businesses that you can stand behind because they have there's a trust factor. They've been here, they're not going to close tomorrow,
right?
Unless it's like a Blockbuster.
Yep.
But, having that proof behind the actual business is super important. Yep. You talked about advertising with Jared Lundine's episode. What are some advertising routes that you guys have taken that have been super successful for you guys that maybe other business owners can try to implement as well?
Well, the biggest thing now is, and it's obviously been for a few years now, but social media is where it's going, right? That's what everybody has, that phone in their hand, and they're constantly looking. So we find huge success in our Facebook and our Instagram marketing. That's a big thing for us because we're able to, as we do, if we're going to run out to the fairgrounds this weekend and do a show, it's very easy for us to drop ads into Facebook, and then everyone is seeing that almost instantaneously. They can click on that and they can come right to us. So Facebook is really big. And then for us, especially here in Minot and North Dakota, South Dakota, good old fashioned radio, TV still works extremely well.
Yeah.
Because we do have an older demographic, but even coming up, younger demographics are still prone to going to the local channels, listening to the local radio. So that stuff still works really well, but most of our money's concentrated on social media.
Yeah. And that's where it's super interesting. One, I'm in that industry, so it's good to see, but the shift over the last 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years of everything going social media wise, it's just where the attention's at. And I try to tell my clients that as much as possible. You should be on, not that you have to neglect radio or TV, but you should be having your hand in those different cookie jars to be able to hit all of the demographics. Because someone like me might be more prone to see something on Facebook or Instagram compared to if I'm watching the 6 o'clock news, because I might not have cable. So I think it's super important to be involved in all of them. One thing with the show, a lot of times we have business owners on here. Your scenario is a little bit different being a general manager. How, as a general manager, do you keep the ship afloat? Do you have any day-to-day activities that you're making sure everything is running smoothly?
Well, basically for me, there's we kind of call it the daily dime. There's 10 things that I have to do daily, that I have to go through, a checklist that I need to go through, coming in, making sure I'm touching all the staff. That's number one. Make sure that, they've got what they need to do their job, making sure that if they do have questions or concerns about what their job is, that they're bringing them to me. And then just that checklist of things, for me, it's walk around the store. Is it presentable? Is it clean? Making sure that I go through those phone calls. That's a big thing for me every night. Throughout the day, I get a stack of Post-its that I'm going to have to call back, so I try to get through those every night before I go. Sustaining the business like it is in our, we sell fun and relaxation, but the business is stressful.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, to keep you relaxed at home is very stressful for me,
but you should buy one of your own hot tubs.
It's like, if I was home more, trust me, I would love to. But they keep me on the go quite a bit. But it is one of those things where you just have to have a checks and balances so that you can, check off and make sure. But the most important thing for us is, our people, and trying to keep them equipped with what they need and what they have to do their job. A lot of businesses can relate to this right now. Finding employees is very difficult. So when you do find a couple that you can work with and that you like, you have to make sure that you can keep them happy.
That's one thing I don't have any full-time employees. I have contractors that help out with all the projects, but I don't have full-time employees. So I'm interested to hear the hiring. Once you find, how do you go about making sure they feel appreciated and that they want to stay at that place of employment?
For me personally, I had a conversation with one of my guys. This was last week, maybe the week before, where it was just end of a day where we felt like, with 9 o'clock and all of a sudden it's 5:30 and we're like, where the hell did the day go?
Yeah.
So it was one of those, we're sitting there kind of wrapping up the day, and I just looked at him and I'm like, dude, there's some days where I just don't feel like I'm leading like I should.
Yeah.
I feel like today was kind of a mess and we could have maybe done it better. And he's like, no, he goes, he's like, you're great. You're great. He goes, I love the fact that, and he talked about delegating jobs to him and making sure those things are going. But I think for me is, personal relationships.
Yeah.
I think there's some management or owners that, just want to manage your staff and keep it on a business level. And for me, I need to know kind of about them and what they got going on, because you might carry something pretty heavy into work one day. And me, I just think you're slacking off and I'm going to get angry at you. Right. But no, if I know what you got going on and stuff, I may be a little more relatable to you and able to maybe get you on a different task that's not going to be so, stressful or whatever it may be. So for me, it's that personal relationship with them, understanding what they have going on in life and, being able to, work with them a little bit on that.
How do you maintain the boundary between having that personal relationship, but then also not being, we're bestest of friends?
Yep. It's hard because that is the other thing that you can battle with, is the fact that, you tell someone, or let's say ask someone to do something and they don't, you're your buddy. They don't want to do something for you. But I think I lead by example. I'm not a do as I say, do as I do. I'm a do as I do.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's come by Paradise Spas any given day. You'll see me on a forklift. You'll see me moving and unloading trucks and also on the sales floor and in the office and trying to do all that stuff. So I think my guys see that I'm willing to put in the work. So even, if we are buddies or if we are, on a personal level, they understand that if I'm asking them to do something, it's just merely because I don't have time to do it myself.
It's hard for them to tell you to shove it if you're out there doing the same exact thing they are.
It is. And it's hard for them to be like, well, you don't even know because what? Yeah. No, I do know.
Yeah. It's like, I was literally doing that this morning.
Yep. And that's very important. And that comes down from the top. I mean, when Jason's at the store and running around, there's a lot of times you'll see Jason on the forklift. You'll see him, cleaning up and running and he's got a vision that he wants things to look like. And I have to reciprocate that as well. So, I mean, it comes from the top. I mean, there's work to be done. You do it. We're still a small business, we do big business, but we're a small business. So, everybody has a lot of hats.
Which is, it's super interesting to see how the different structures of these businesses work. And that's why I like doing the show. Before we get into some more questions, we're going to hear from our sponsor, Midco. Is your business moving up and to the right? Put Midco's business technology to work for you so you never have a slow day at the office. From premium internet and phone plans to custom private networking and advertising, they have a solution for every type of business, large or small. Get paired with an account representative to create your suite of services and make the switch with ease with dedicated business client fulfillment and support teams. No data caps, flexible contracts with month-to-month or long-term options, built-in DDoS protection, and more. Explore services and request a free consultation at midco.com/business today. I've been a Midco user ever since I started my business. I have to send a lot of files to the cloud, and doing that over their gig internet that I have is super awesome. So if you guys are looking to check out some of their services, go to midco.com/business. Okay, James, let's get back into some of the questions now. So expansion plans for Paradise Spas in the future. Do you guys have any business growth and scaling ideas, anything in the works?
There is always something in the works. So for us here in North Dakota and South Dakota, Minot is home and Minot is going to get a facelift. So we have plans this late this summer and fall. I touched on a little bit, the Blue on Broadway building that sits south of us has really overpowered where we sit now. And, our store is dated. It's older. It's probably been since the 90s since it's had something done. So it is time to give us a facelift. So there's going to be a new look coming there. Like I said, we've transitioned from the motorsports, Paradise Spas and Motorsports back into Paradise Spas and Outdoor Living. So you're going to see some new logos. You may have seen some of that coming on, the truck outside you've seen around town, some of the other advertisings and stuff we've had have gone to the Outdoor Living. So you're going to see a little bit of a facelift there. Obviously with our efforts in the South in Texas, we have a couple locations down there and that is growing like wildfire. So that is, outside of what we do here in Minot, that's a whole entity that, we're continuing to grow that as well. So.
And that'll be super exciting. Is there a time frame of when the new remodel is going to be what can people look for that?
You're probably going to start seeing some work done in around July. We've got a massive billboard that sits in our parking lot right now, and that contract is up. So that's going away. Thank God. So we'll be able to open up the face of that building. It's going to go twice as high as it is right now. We're going to get some digital boards up on the front of it, a little bit different color scheme. So late fall, we should be, pretty well done with that or coming into that. So yeah,
we'll have to have another conversation in the late fall to see how the whole transition happened and unfolded. How do you and the team, stay up to date on new technologies in the spa industry, Well,
Master Spas is, again, that's our main vendor that we deal with. And they are the largest manufacturer of swim spas in the world. They are the largest American-made hot tub company. And right now, we're probably in their top 2, 3 to 4 dealers. So they're very in tune with the industry. They're very in tune with keeping their dealers in tune. So we just had our sales team out to Indiana a couple weeks ago and did some training out there. They have all new factories, really boomed during the COVID era when, the home leisure side of things, when people had to stay home and realize maybe home's not too bad.
Yeah.
I just need something to do at home. So, pool tables and hot tubs and saunas and all that stuff really took off during that time point. But Master Spas took that as a time to, like a lot of companies did, to, rebuild and grow and put in new infrastructure and things like that. So we've had some guys out there doing some training. They're very good about getting the dealers involved. Every year we do a massive dealer conference, usually somewhere warm, and they bring out all the new products and, things like that. So very good to have a vendor, a manufacturer that is really good about keeping their vendors in tune.
Yeah, I was going to say it's good that they're at least guiding you through everything that's coming. Yes. You mentioned COVID a little bit. Talk about, did that change your guys' business, the way you operate things?
That changed the world. I mean, that obviously changed everything. Did it change the business? It changed the business 100%. So what we were used to was you walk into my store today, I sell you a product, and you get that product delivered into your backyard within probably 3 to 4 weeks.
Yep.
In COVID, that got stretched to almost 18 months.
Really?
So if you would come in and buy a hot tub today, I could not deliver it to you for 1.5 years. Wow. So, and that was just merely a product and material availability for these vendors and
just the supply chain was so bad.
Supply chain was so bad. Not only that, but there was manufacturers that were shutting down. So Master Spas never completely shut down. We had a week or two here and there where we had to shut down because of an outbreak at the factory or whatever it was.
Yep.
But they were always, right back open, but it was materials. It was trying to get, the manufacturers that make our pumps. Okay. They were shut down. So now we can't get pumps. So whatever that material was that was really slowing us down. And every business in the country felt that, every business in the world felt that, but that was a really hard time. So to tell a customer that who gave you some money to order a product that they're going to wait, they knew they would have to wait, but then sometimes those dates would come and go. And go. They would call. You told me my tub was going to be here today. I was told it was going to be here today too, but let's work with me here. And so it was a stressful time. It was one of those times where you do have to kind of, grab your bootstraps and really dig in, because it was difficult. We did see, for us, luckily, we're an essential business. Hot tubs are a medical device for a lot of people.
Okay.
So we do have to stay open so that those people that are using it for their aqua therapies or their autoimmune diseases and things like that can keep their tubs running. So we were able to keep business flowing through that entire time and never had to shut down. Because of that, we also saw some growth in the company, and we have been able to we've been very fortunate to be able to give back a couple of times throughout the year too. So, and
that's what I was curious. So are the times still at that 18th month window, or how did that change post COVID?
We are 100% recovered now within the industry, the pool and spa industry. There's still a lot of manufacturers that are not back into full swing. Luckily, being all American made, a lot of our everything that we do comes right here in the 50 United States. So we are back on track. I'm back to, if you order a tub today, I probably have it in stock. If I don't, then I can get it within a very short period of time, 3 to 4 weeks, usually right now. So Master Spas and Paradise Spas, we've been lucky. We're back on track, and we're, I don't want to say business as usual, but we're right back to where we were, 2019 timeframe.
Okay.
The best thing that we have going on right now, back in 2019, we did smaller business. So over the last 2-3 years, we've grown quite a bit.
Yeah.
So we've had to improvise and adapt a little bit there, because now we're dealing with, we used to not stock tubs. We'd order everything. We'd have a showroom display, but then we'd order the tubs in.
Yeah.
Now we're working with, we have stock. So we're instant deliveries on a lot of stuff now. So that's kind of changed a little bit. And then also what COVID also taught us is we can probably do a lot more work with less.
Okay.
You tend to overstaff sometimes, thinking, well, I need a guy to do that. I need a guy to do that. I need a guy to do that. And like I mentioned before, you'll see me on a forklift or whatever else. We have found that we can do a really good amount of business with less people.
Yeah. And less is more.
Yeah. And I think COVID taught us that. So we've been able to trim some expense as well, which has really helped on the other end. But we're finding new things almost every day. And that's another thing, as a business that's 30 years old plus, I think how you get there is your ability to be able to notice things, to be able to improvise and adapt, and be able to roll with what the market gives you. And I think we're really good at that.
That's one thing. Blockbuster. That's how they went out of business. They weren't willing to adapt. I just saw a post that Blockbuster had the opportunity to buy Netflix.
Yes.
For $50 million. Yeah. And they laughed him out of the room. And now there's one Blockbuster store. So I think the ability to roll with those punches is crucial. Is there any advice you could give on how to be able to do that?
Well, the biggest thing is you always have to be looking forward. I mean, looking back, to learn from your past mistakes. And so you don't repeat that stuff. Yes, that's very important. But the thing is you always have to be looking forward, seeing what the next big thing is. There's things that we have in mind. I'm not going to go into detail because I think it's a competitive edge that we're working on. But I mean, there's things that we have in mind that we're looking. By the time they hit other stores, we've been talking about this for weeks or months already. There's things that, as anybody in their business, if you're not stepping foot into the competition, if you're not stepping foot, like when I vacation, you bet I'm going to visit a few spa stores. It's just what I do, what we all do, and or not necessarily spa stores, but I'll go and visit other places where we've got sales guys. I need to see what the sales guys are doing, how they're getting their customers and how they're doing that kind of stuff. So, I mean, you always have to be looking forward, looking how you're going to be able to, adapt your business into the next stage of it.
Yeah. So now going from the sales side of things and how you're going to adapt to now more so the customer experience side of things, why do you think it's important, if you think it's important, which I assume you're going to say yes, to have a good client experience or customer experience from start when they walk in your store to picking up the tub to when you guys are delivering it? And I assume, do you guys hook everything up and all that fun stuff?
We're not electricians, so I cannot hook up a brand new hot tub. But we do deliver, put it in place.
Okay.
And we get it up to that point.
Okay.
So, it's very important because with us, not every hot tub in the world is like a Master Spa. For us, we're kind of like that Maytag repairman because Master Spa is a product that has a 20-year lifespan. So it is one of those things where the quality is very good. So the customer experience needs to be really, really good with us because of the fact I'm not going to get, as a salesman, I'm not going to get a chance to touch them again for quite some time.
Yeah.
Right. So they need to have a good experience so they can remember years later when they need to replace this product that, hey, it was a really good experience there. But not only that, it's a big purchase. You know, when you're looking at spending anywhere from $7,000 to $30,000, even $60,000, if you're looking at a swim spa, it has to be a comfortable purchase. You as a consumer have to be comfortable with that. So I need to ask the right questions. I need to make sure that you're comfortable, make sure that you trust us, which is another thing about being around for so long. You can understand that we know what we're doing. We're very professional at how we do it. We stock all the parts. We do have the service guys here in town ready to go. It's one of those things that, I've heard horror stories from other competition where a guy orders a part and he doesn't get it for 6, 8, 9 months, a year. Yeah. Have we experienced some of that in a rare case? Yes. But it hasn't been consistent.
It's like, I can't use my hot tub now for 8 months.
Yeah. And during COVID, especially, that was some of those things where, just materials and shortages were happening. But the good thing is that, with Master Spas and being able to recover as quickly as they have, we haven't carried that outside of COVID. It was during that time alone. But yeah, the customer experience is very important. So those qualifying questions up front, as a customer, you might be like, oh, this guy's kind of, just let me look. And we do want to do that, but also you need to know that not every hot tub's just a box of hot water. Yeah. There's different jetting, there's different horsepowers, there's different seating configurations, there's different materials that they're made of for comfort, acrylic, injection mold. There's all kinds of stuff you can get into that really, you walk in and it just looks like a room of the same thing to you.
But I like how you said a box of hot water.
Yeah. But to me, there's 5 different brands here. There's, 6 or 7 different models in each brand. So there's literally 35 to 40 different options in a room that you only see as though there's some hot tubs in there.
Yeah. It goes back to feeling like you're working with a professional. If I come in there, you're going to know all the specs.
Yes.
Just like if you come to me the video wise, I'm going to know exactly how you should shoot this video, where to put it. And I think when you build that trust with the customer, it helps you in the long term, especially with 20 years as your touching points. That's a little bit difficult. How do you go about, I assume you're having to find new clients all the time since that the repeat business doesn't happen for 20 years down the road.
Right. And that goes back to, doing our big sales events and stuff we were talking about earlier, where you have to get your product in front of people, because it is one of those things where, right here in Minot, we've been extremely lucky. We're a central hub here in the center of the state where we do have a lot of influx from all around the state coming into us. So we've been very lucky to sustain really good customer base here. But from time to time we do. I mean, we have to do expos in Fargo. We have to do expos in Grand Forks, and we have to, reach out to those other areas in order just to keep the ball rolling and keep things, business coming in. And it also happens. I mean, we've been in business 30 years. So what have we been lucky to see is, we sell someone a hot tub and then we sell their kids a hot tub and then we sell their kids a hot tub. So we're coming
like
around to that third or fourth generation of people that we're selling now. So it has been, again, that's why that customer experience is so important, because no matter how much money we spend on social media, no matter how much money we put on the radio, what you tell your friends or your kids or whatever is worth 10 times that.
So talking about competition a little bit then, how do you view competition? How do you differentiate yourself for Paradise Spas compared to, John Doe's bathtubs, whatever it is,
Right.
not bathtubs, but excuse me. How do you differentiate yourself and look at competition around the state and across the country?
Right. So competition is fantastic. I mean, you have to have it. It keeps everyone honest, right? And it keeps everyone competitive with where your prices are and everything else. So competition is fantastic. The nice thing that we have, again, being with Master Spas, is there's other stores in the state that sell hot tubs, but nobody sells what we sell as far as, being able to, the product that we have, the performance that it has, the quality that it is, the Michael Phelps Signature Series swim spas, the Michael Phelps Signature Series hot tubs. We have massive pumps and we have smaller pumps and we have huge configurations and layouts where most every other manufacturer out there, they all have their niche, which is why those qualifying questions when you come in is so important. When you come in there, I need to find out your budget. I need to find out, are you here just to hang out with friends and have your, some drinks in the hot tub, or are you here because you got a bad back, you've had injury, you need recovery, you're constantly live with pain, or you have some type of autoimmune disease, or you have lupus, or whatever it may be. I need to find those things out. And you may feel like it's prying a little bit, but the thing is you're going to spend a lot of money with me. This product's going to sit in your backyard for a long time.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that it's the right product. So with us, what's the difference between the competition and us is I feel we do a better job of qualifying a customer, getting them into the hot tub that suits them and their family the best. And then also it's just a better product.
I like to use the analogy selling like a doctor. That's what I do for my video work. You can go to the doctor and you say, hey, my back hurts. And it says, hey, here's 2 aspirin, gets you out the door. But when you go to the doctor, they ask, okay, well, why does it hurt? Where does it hurt? What did you do? Did you fall on the ice? How long has it hurt? So if you ask all these questions, these qualified questions in any service, whether it's spas or video work or selling homes, whatever it is, I think that's what separates you from just the average person that's going to say, hey, here's 2 aspirin.
Right. And the average person who's just trying to run a business and make money. Right.
Yeah.
The idea of business is to make money, support your family. Right. So you can't shame somebody for that's how they do business. But the thing is that at the end of the day, there's more to it than here's a product, give me your money, thank you very much, and have a great experience and all that. Versus when you come into us being able to, find out why you're here, what you need, what does your family need?
Here's your problem. Here's the solution.
Here's the problem. Here's the solution. I want to treat the cause of what ails you, not just the symptom.
Yeah.
So that's one thing. We got to dig real deep and we got to find out what you need so that we can suit you the best.
That's one thing that I think anybody listening to the show can start implementing, figure out, what's the actual problem and then deliver the solution rather than just taking that business. How do you maintain your passion for what you do every day?
For me, it is, it's a sales. I'm first passionate about sales. And for me, the whole thing with that is just being able to help somebody get into something. Who doesn't like buying something?
Yeah, I know I do.
That retail therapy is what they call it, so anytime you can be a part of that. And, I take this back to when I was selling RVs years ago, and I go back into the detail center. There's a young family. They're about to pick up a camper. And I'll be honest with you, the camper was old and it was pretty beat up, but it was a budget, and it was within their budget. And I found the right camper for them. And we had one of the detail people come over, and they were just like, did somebody actually buy this thing? Like, it's pretty rough, just like, and I just looked at him and I pointed over because here comes mom, dad, and a couple kids. And when they came through that door into the detail center and they see that camper, and these kids' eyes get
super excited,
this big, it's like, that's our camper, it's just like, and they're in there, they're jumping all over the place. And I was part of being able to enjoy that or create that excitement. So to me, that was it was a learning lesson for said individual I was talking to, basically, pardon my language, there's an ass for every seat,
Yeah.
but also it's just like, this is what we create. This is what we sell. I'm not selling this item. I'm not selling hot tubs. I'm selling the
experience and the emotion they're getting.
Yeah.
I like that.
That's what drives me, is that part of just being able to create something for, an emotion for somebody where we can help them out.
Yeah. And I'm a huge advocate of that. That's what I try to do with videos. If I'm making a car commercial, I don't want to sell the car. I want the experience you get owning that car.
Yeah.
What are Paradise Spa's goals next 6 to 12 months? I know you've talked about them a little bit, but is there anything you guys are trying to accomplish by the end of 2023?
The big thing for us is, again, touching on the customer experience. That's why we're going back and looking at the front of the building, trying to remodel and put a new facelift on so that, bring ourselves into the future here, but also, continue to do what we've done and do it better moving forward. We have, like I was saying, we've got some goals in mind as far as, some product that we're looking at that we're going to be introducing, that it's exciting for us, but, it's continue along the same path, but also, broaden your horizon. What's next for us? What can we do? What can we achieve in the home and leisure business that's going to, take us to that next level? And that's always where we're never content with where we are. We're always looking at what we can do next.
Continual improvement. That's what I like to chalk it up as.
Yeah.
Last question I got for you. Mount Rushmore of business advice. You get 4 pieces. What would you say to someone just starting a business or just getting into the business world? Maybe they're just coming out of high school, out of college. What would you say to them? 4 pieces.
Again, being blunt and again, with my language, don't give a shit about what anyone else says.
Yeah.
If you have a passion or a dream, you go for it. Because that's always been one of the things for me is, there's going to be haters in everything you do.
Yeah.
So no matter what you do, if you have a passion for something and you have a dream for something, you got to chase that, do it. And who cares? If mom's telling you don't do it, you're going to waste your money or whatever.
Yep.
Sometimes mom's got to sit on the sideline and just watch this happen because it's what you want. 2, you got to have a passion for it.
Mm-hmm.
3, you want to be able to, look at yourself in the mirror every day. So whatever you're doing, you want to be able to be like proud of yourself for doing it and pushing to do it. And then 4, just have fun. That's the number one thing for me when I look at, I run a crew of anywhere from 3 to 5 to 7 sales guys whenever I'm doing shows and stuff like that. And it's really easy to get beat up because you lost a deal or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, we're putting hot tubs in people's backyards.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a fun experience. So just have fun with it. So that's the number one thing, is just have fun. But yeah, don't care what anyone else is saying. Have a passion for it. Be proud of yourself and what you're doing, and then also have fun with it.
I really enjoyed the first piece of advice you gave there, that don't care about what anyone says. I just saw an article the other day about the only people that are going to be your hater or give you shit for anything are people that are below you. Mm-hmm. If you're starting a YouTube channel, someone with 1 million subscribers isn't going to dog you for posting your first video because they were at that same point.
Right.
$1 million business isn't going to dog your $50,000 business because they were at that point too. So just keep that in the back of your mind, is that everyone had to start somewhere, and the people that are above you and that you're striving to be like have been in the same spot that you have been. James, thanks for coming on the show. Where can people find you in Paradise Spas?
We are on Broadway, 1615 South Broadway to be exact, right across from First International Bank there. Or keep your eyes on your phone or the radio at a city near you, at a venue near you. We may be popping up for a Spa Expo. You never know.
We will put all of the links in the description below. You guys can check out Paradise Spas. James, thanks for coming on the show.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
That was episode 47 of the Minot Business Podcast. We will see you guys next week for episode 48.